Hey, sorry, I don't mind. Don't mind if I get a braised egg also.
Hey!
What? Oh, very fast. Hello, good morning, good morning. Okay, hi, you're watching Braised Eats, and I'm here at East Coast Lagoon Food Village to talk about a Bak Kut stall where Bak Kut is actually not the main highlight, but actually their braised pork leg is. Hanjia Bak Kut was started by a Hainanese man called Han Yak Hong in 1963, and he was a street hawker in the McPherson, Serangoon area of Singapore. And in 1978, he became one of the pioneering batch of hawkers to move over to East Coast Lagoon Food Village when it was completed that year. The stall is now in the hands of Mr. Han's son, Aloysius, who is 50 years old. He took over and ran the stall with his mother when the elder Han passed away in late 2003. So come, let's have a taste.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
First, a quick word from our sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Safety and security are two of the most important aspects of daily internet life. Do you know that every single day, there are evil, cunning hackers trying to do you harm, and most internet users aren't even aware of it? You are unprotected on the internet. And don't you wish there was somebody out there to protect you? Well, there is. Introducing Surfshark VPN, which turns you into an anonymous and hard to trace online user with a click of a button. In addition, you know Netflix and Disney Plus? Well, those streaming sites have particular content that's only available in certain countries, and normally you can't access it. Using a VPN service like Surfshark gives you the access that you need. Just connect to the service, refresh the page, and access granted. Visit surfshark.com, and if you use the promo code GregsBeatEats, you get 83% and 3 months free. Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk on your part. I have the Surfshark link in the description box below, and now back to the review. Hello, hi. Give me one braised pork leg fat one, one liver and kidney soup mix. Then one kiam cai, tau pork, big intestine, and one veg.
No need rice, huh?
No need rice, yeah. How much? 20 what?
2240.
2240. Thanks, very much, thank you. Okay, so I am back. Oh, flies. Okay, so I'm back and I've ordered two of the stall's most coveted dishes. Their braised pork leg and their liver and kidney soup. And I ordered some of their sides, some tau pork, some kiam cai, salted vegetable, some green veg, and some big intestine. Firstly, the big highlight at this stall, which is the braised pork leg. Now, braised pork leg is actually a very common dish at Bak Kut stalls. But this stall's braised pork leg is so good that it is the best seller at this stall, more so than their Bak Kut. They have two varieties of the pork leg. They have a lean version and a fat version. And these two versions are basically different parts of the pork leg. The lower part of the pork leg, the fat version, has more fat and less meat, and the upper part of the pork leg has got less fat and more meat. I got the pork leg fat because I like fat. So, having a taste. Oh god. Oh, outstandingly good. Now this is easily hands down the best braised pork leg that I have eaten in my life. It's been braised for a long time so that the fat is melting and the skin is soft with a slight amount of spring. And the meat is very tender but still some chew to it. And of course the great thing about eating the pork leg is that it's got all these gelatinous bits aside from the skin, the fat and the meat. And it's a pretty sizable portion for the price too, $6.50. Let me show you a little bit more of it. I've already cut into it. Now for the gravy itself, okay? The gravy itself is a great mix of savouriness with a bit of roundness, with a little bit of spice notes, and it's got a very nice collagen-rich oiliness in the gravy. They try to balance the saltiness so that you can eat it on its own and it isn't overly salty. You can still eat it with rice and it's still decently salted. Though depending on how much rice you add, right, it might be a little too lightly salted for some. Note too that the texture of the pork leg will also change depending on the time of day you actually come here. I came in the morning about 9 or 9:30, but try coming here at about 3 p.m, 4 p.m, and the skin and meat will be softer and less firm, more melting. Okay, next, the liver and kidney soup. Oh. Okay, this is raw kidney and raw liver that has been blanched in the bak kut broth, then they top it up with soup. You can get the liver and kidney on its own, but I chose to have it both in one bowl lah. First, the liver. Oh God. This is very nicely blanched. If you eat it immediately after you get your order, right, it is nicely pink and bouncy. But if you choose to leave it in the soup for a bit longer, it cooks a little more and it gets a little creamier in the taste. And of course, the best part about ordering this is that you can actually dip it in the dark soy sauce and chili lah, just like this. The dark soy sauce they use is very, very good, very, very thick, not too sweet, very caramel-like. Next, the kidney. I was blown away by the kidney here. The kidney is very nice, very nicely under-blanched, and it's not hard and it's lightly springy. Until I actually ate at the stall, right, I never realized that kidney could be as tender as this. I started eating here like many decades ago, pre-2000s, maybe. And if you notice, right, both the kidney and the liver are actually cut into thinner, broader slices, generally speaking. Now the soup is very interesting, but I'll talk about the soup on a different day later on the vlog. Okay, but right now all you need to know is that because you've added liver and kidney, right, it actually changes the taste profile of the soup a little bit. You know, it's got a little bit more of that organ taste, and it is richer in taste. Okay, next, the big intestines. Now these are not a major highlight but they are very commendable in their own right Wow, freaking amazing, man. The big intestines are stewed for a very long time, such that it is extremely soft and melting. But however, some people will like this extremely soft texture, but some won't. There are people who prefer it to have a little bit more bite and texture, and unfortunately you won't get that here. As for the flavor, the intestine flavor is very clean with very little offal smell. But if you still find that little bit of intestine smell to be too much, you can add the chili on the side, which is specially tailored for this intestine. So I see. Oh, I'm going to put some on top. And it actually goes very, very nicely. The chili itself, chili is sour, not a fresh sourness. It's got an earthy sourness to it. It's a bit rounded to take the sour edge off, and it's gritty and spicy, of course. No oil notes. I mean, the chili will help to mask that offensive smell, but there isn't much offensive smell in the first place. But you need to add the chili very carefully, I suppose, because it has this tendency to over-dominate the dish. So you have to almost add it in moderation, in a way. But when you get the balance right, it's wonderful. Oh, next thing I ordered are basically some sides. Braised style pork tofu puff, and under that is kiam cai, salted vegetable. Trying the tofu puff. Style pork, good for sopping up all the gravy, and it's fairly firm. Some stalls cook it softer, this one doesn't. Next, the salted veg. Oh, wonderful. Stewed very well, and it's got this great medium savouriness, light to medium savouriness. Though depending on how much rice you actually eat it with, right? Again, you might want a little bit more of a savoury punch to it but still very nice. And the veg. There you go, just plain boiled green veg. It's got some vegetarian oyster sauce on top, some sesame seeds, and some fried onions Fairly crunchy. Oyster sauce is a bit on the sweeter side. Oh well, but still very nice. So I'm back here for a second day at Bak Kut to try their other dishes. Today I got their Bak Kut, some dry ribs, what they call it, and some of their sides, like their pig's ears, their tau kwa, their tau ki. Okay, so firstly their Bak Kut. First the meat. Oh. Usually the meat is cooked on a slightly softer side. So it's kind of like a modern take on the dish. And the softer texture will actually appeal to younger customers. But today it's actually cooked a little bit firmer, which will appeal more to older folk who tend to prefer their meat to taste like meat, hardier and firmer. Of course, the best thing about Bak Kut is that you can actually jazz it up with some dark soy sauce and sliced chilli. Just like that, you can tell. Okay, next the soup. Oh, by the way, the Bak Kut you get 3 ribs. It's quite standard. Oh, so the flavor of the soup is kind of like very interesting. It's either the best soup that you've ever tasted or it's the most lame soup that you've ever tasted. And it's really because it's the flavor profile of the soup. It's not as peppery as how Teochew Bak Kut is, but neither is it very herbal with dark soy sauce like how Hokkien Bak Kut is like, a style which is more commonly found in Malaysia. The stall here goes for a flavor which is very lightly peppery and has a faint amount of herbs inside. So because there's less peppery notes and there's less herb notes, right, the pork stock actually shines better. And this style is actually more uncommon. So people who like this will appreciate that the pepper and the herbs don't over-dominate the pork stock. There's more of a purer taste. On a side note, this is also good for tourists as a good introduction to Bak Kut. But actually, even though it's not as peppery as Teochew Bak Kut, right, it's still quite peppery. Oh. Okay, next, the dry ribs. Oh, sliding off one rib. Oh, just came out. Oh, good. So the meat here is actually the pork rib cut, but instead of actually doing it soup style, they actually braise it just like their pork leg. And it is wonderfully braised. Moist and soft meat with a bit of a bite. Very similar to the pork leg, as I said, but without the soft skin and not so fatty. This is worth ordering. Again, the same rule applies. If you want the meat to be softer, come later in the day. Okay, next, the braised pig's ears. Okay, so what is braised pig's ears? Obviously it's the ear of the pig, but more specifically, it's kind of like skin and fat surrounding a piece of pig cartilage. Skin, fat, cartilage right underneath there. So it's very well braised, so the skin is soft and the soft cartilage inside is soft, but it still retains its bite, obviously. It's also cut quite broad so that you have more of that textural crunch to every piece. It's highly recommended for people who actually enjoy eating cartilage. Oh, FYI, he said that you can also use the intestine chili to eat the pig's ears with. So, over here. Actually very nice. Oh. Next is the tau kwa. Not bad, very nice. The texture is slightly on the softer side, but still a bit firm. And very fresh, no sour taste at all. Very nice. Braised egg. Braised egg is braised egg lah. Right? Next, the tau ki. It's blanched in the Bak Kut soup, but it's not overcooked until it's super soft. It's got a firmer texture to it. Okay, finished. So that was a look at Bak Kut. But would I travel all the way to the East Coast to eat here? For the braised pork leg and the liver kidney soup, a definite yes. But actually in general, all of the dishes here are actually very well done. But as I stressed, the stall is not for people who like firmer meat textures or power-packed punchy flavors lah. Don't get me wrong, the food is still very flavorful lah. But I personally like the stall very much because it is more toned down and more subtle in its approach. It's kind of got like a less is more approach, and actually that can be a very good thing too lah. So thanks for watching another episode of Gregsby Eats. We eat through the whole of Singapore. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe and comment below, and turn on the notifications bell, and I'll see you in the next one for more eating. Bye bye.